Howdy everyone, this is Bishvesh here, and through this video presentation, I'm going to cover a topic called DevSecOps, which is very prominent in the IT industry nowadays when it comes to information security. The agenda for the presentation will be as follows. We'll be going on with the introduction, the problem statement, the need for DevSecOps in the current environment, the objectives, approach, and the ways moving forward. But before I begin, let's have a look at a quick video that I made to understand why there's a need of DevSecOps.
Hey Abhishek.
Yeah?
Did you check your code for bugs?
Sorry bro, that's not my work, that's tester's job. Sorry.
Okay. Hey Teju, did you check the code which Abhishek sent to you? Is it ready for launching?
I tested the code for bugs, but its product compatibility is not my job, so please ask the project manager.
Okay.
Hey project manager, do you think that our code is production compatible?
I think so, but I don't understand a line in the code. Do you know what that is?
Now, as you saw in the video, a programmer doesn't care about the bugs. The tester wants to know if the code is production compatible. He doesn't know about it. The project manager knows that the code is production compatible, but doesn't understand a single line in the code. This is a big problem. I mean, if in a huge IT environment, if there's so much dependency of one team onto another, the time to market is really, really slow. And that's where DevSecOps come into picture. So the problem statement is really very simple. Multiple silos lead to multiple delegations. A programmer can delegate the job to a tester can delegate the job back to the programmer or to the project manager, and project manager then can delegate job to anyone because he is the project manager. Teams are highly, highly dependent on each other. If there's unavailability of a single team, well, the complete production queue goes to a standstill. Time to fix an issue is very high. I have seen in my work experience that in case of any production issue that comes up, complete team of developers, testers, network guys have to be called in just for the sake of fixing an issue, which is very, very disadvantageous, especially if you're dealing in financial industry. Well, the need for DevSecOps is very simple. So in this figure, you can see companies like Amazon, Google, and Netflix have highly, highly reduced the time to deploy a code by by a huge margin. They are, like, for example, Amazon is doing 23,000 deployments a day, which is very high compared to industry standards. But are all their deployments secure? Well, that is a big question. They have to roll back most of the deployments. Around 60% of the deployments have to be rolled back because they are not as secure as they are intended to be. And how can we fix this? Again, DevSecOps is the key. So the objectives here are pretty simple. For starting with the development, from security and the operations, all these three things have to be integrated, and the end product should be security as a goal. We might have listened about infrastructure as a code or platform as service. This is a new term which you might have been hearing, which is security as a code, which means right from the inception, right from the day when developers are actually building the code, you have to make sure the code is secure and vulnerable. Testers, while testing the code, have to make sure that apart from doing unit testing and alpha and beta testing and the black box testing, you have to test the code with respect to security vulnerabilities too. There should be a separate red and blue team, and analytics and insights should take into account the security aspects of the product as well. Investigation and forensics should be an integral part of the DevSecOps team. Now, the approach for DevSecOps is really very simple. If you see on the left-hand side, security engineering, security operations, compliance, and security science all are under the umbrella of DevSecOps. Now, what does this mean? All the automations, all the work of development, testing should be under the security engineering. Security operations will detect all the flaws that are coming in production with respect to security and pass on the data to the security engineering team. Compliance operation have to respond if there's a breach of any confidential information, or if they feel that the code is not compliant, it's not compliant to the security standards. They'll pass on the information to the security operations team. Security science is a new approach actually that has grown recently, in which the future trends of security are actually measured. Now, how to actually make this completely practical? So there are three types of projects in any IT firm. There's a small project, there's a big project, and then there are migrations that happen. DevSecOps actually fits all of these approaches, but then each one has a pros and cons. Say, for example, a small project requires a DevOps approach, but then it requires extreme programming. So if the teams are small, the knowledge base or the skill set that the individuals have should be pretty much. When it comes to migration, it allows companies to keep the operating while the team fix what it's needed, but then there could be an overload to the operations and development team, because it's like, in addition to your existing development work, you have to migrate your existing code to a new environment. Similarly, when it comes to big projects, the main disadvantage is the bigger failures, because a single failure can actually bring your approach, the DevSecOps approach, to a standstill. So moving forward, how are we going to do that? So it's pretty very simple. So this figure actually tells you how to integrate DevSecOps into your production cycle, or into your CI/CD pipeline. So starting from the development phase, or even say starting from the time when requirements are being gathered, or you are into the production planning and implementation phase, monitoring and analytics will be embedded, and then the security team encompasses everything. So right from the planning phase to development phase to testing phase to implementation, and then to release in the production release phase, all of them would be encompassed and under the umbrella of security team, so that every single aspect, every single work is actually done under the constant supervision of the security team, and hence the DevSecOps approach is finally compatible, and your code is finally, or your product is compatible to the DevSecOps approach. That would be it, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my presentation.